How's it going, everybody? We are back with another themed Hot 5 for the week. I am joined by the nicest man in comics, Peter Renna of Dollar Bin Digging, Usual Suspects, and many other pieces of content on CBSI. I'm Mike Morello of Cover Tunes and Cover Fire and other nonsense over on CBSI as well. You've seen a lot of both of us on a lot of podcasts lately. But we are bringing you your regular Thursday themed Top 5. And this week's is Masters of the Universe, which is a niche market, but a huge one. It's one of those markets where fans are rabid for their books. There's 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of these books that when they come to market, they are scooped up instantly. There's a couple you'll see on this list that are just enormous. I was never a Motu guy when I was a kid. I think I collected every other toy except for Masters of the Universe. And it's because they were a little bit more expensive than all the other action figures, so my mom never let me have them. But they were cool. My friends all had them. It was fun. But I also, as a result, didn't read the comics. However, since I've been recollecting over the last decade or more, these are books that are always on my radar. I'm always trying to find copies of. And I'll tell you, they don't pop up very often. You're actually looking at the only good one behind me that I've been able to snag out of a box anywhere. So, Peter, have you had any luck finding any of these things?
I got that same one that you got, that She-Ra, which your book.
Yeah.
I had a couple over the years, but other than that, I grabbed some randoms. I think I got a second print of one of these number ones, which is a Skeletor cover that I kind of like, but yeah. I don't have any of the big boys.
No, neither do I. I've never even seen a couple of them, so and I don't anticipate that I ever really will. And if I do, I won't be able to afford them anyway. No. So that said, let's dive into the list. We'll start from the bottom and work our way up. So we're going to start at number 5, and we've got a pair going on here this time.
Let's get us started here. All right. So
yeah, that's cool. I love that. All right. So we got our pair of number 12 and number 13 from the Star Publications Masters of the Universe. These are the last 2 issues. And as a result, they're a little bit lower print run, so they're pretty scarce. These are also of that era where books are thrashed in bins. Yeah. So even if you do find them, they're usually in pretty rough shape. But these are sort of like in tandem covers, right? You've got your sort of matching tombstones of death in these 2 issues, which obviously they're the death issues. So. But this is where the series ends, and they're tough low prints. Always sought after. I never see these books. No. It's an interesting niche in the market, really. The whole last issue collecting thing. I know, like Tomb of Dracula is a big one, and Ghost Rider is a big one. Star Wars 107 is a big one. The Punisher, the last 2 Punisher issues are big. There's a lot of them, but these are up there. So these guys come in at the bottom of the list. And then we get to the Peter and Mike special on number 4, the one that we both have. If you read Cover Tunes, you know that I'm a girly cover guy. So this was the one on the list I had to have. It's an absolutely gorgeous cover. And it is, look at that. Just the colors on it. I mean, it's fantastic. It's also She-Ra's origin. It is also the last issue in this run. So it's also a low print issue. Perhaps not as low as the pair above it. But it's a more sought after cover just because it's so gorgeous, and it's got a pretty girl on it, and it's sort of that whole Wonder Woman feel. Sort of the same market goes for this, but it's a beautiful cover. I'm glad to own this.
Yeah, she got a reboot first. I mean, she got her reboot on Netflix before He-Man did.
That's true. That's true. And she's technically like a teenager in the earlier, I think in her earlier incarnations before this. So this is kind of her first like adult appearance, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'm always a little hazy on how that works exactly. I'm sure some of the guys
so many different volumes. It's kind of tough because we got the next book. I mean, she's on the cover, but it was from a different run, I think.
Yeah, yes, it is. But I mean, this is the one that always people try to get. This is the biggie. This is the biggie, the big boy book of the big girl book. It is akin to the one that's going to follow it. It's super rare. It gets snatched up pretty quickly whenever it hits the market. This is obviously a very girl-centric cover. Lots of pink and sort of rainbowiness and
blues,
unicorns, and and all that. But for the guy that collects Red Sonja, with Red Sonja #1 with a big unicorn on the cover, I guess I can't make fun of this cover. It's a gorgeous cover too. Terry Dodson cover, who I think is grossly underrated as an artist, just from the sheer amount of work that he churns out, if nothing else. But this cover's really beautiful layout. I can see why people really want it. It's one of those books that it has a small niche, but when it comes up, it can sell for really big dollars.
Yeah, I've never seen one in person.
I've never seen one either. And matter of fact, I've only ever seen pictures of it online. I've also never searched for it to buy it, but that doesn't really mean much.
I've perused, but it ain't easy.
No, it's not. But the next one I have looked for, and I've never seen it. For those of you that have been around the CBSI sort of chats and podcasts for a long time, this is a book that a lot of CBSI guys have had their eye on for a long time. I know a couple of guys that have them, and it's their Grail, it's their modern Grail, and I can see why this book is absolutely astoundingly gorgeous for what it is, and it's super rare, as rare or rarer than the one above it. This is a Wilkins cover for those that don't know. Wilkins has some beautiful art on a couple of the other covers as well. So if you just love Wilkins, there is one other great Skeletor cover that's not a variant. So if you're feeling really sad that you can't afford what this one goes for, you can go grab that one and at least get Dave Wilkins Skeletor art. It doesn't quite do what this one does, but it is still pretty gorgeous. Have you ever seen one of these, Peter, in life?
No.
I don't even know what this thing goes for now.
Finding pictures online isn't easy. To be honest, if you look, it's tough. Like,
yeah,
the cleanest picture I could find. It's bordered.
There was a Euro variant of this, which I think hurt the value of it at first. Although I think, like anything else, like Legion of Superheroes 23 Hughes variant, and I'm thinking of the Dolato X23 variant that was reused on X-Men Red. Those books will have their own value, I think, in the $100-$200 mark. I don't think in the long run they're really going to damage the value of the real deal. There's always going to be somebody that wants the real one. Yeah. Like I have the X-Men Red Dolato, and that doesn't stop me from wanting the X23. That's, I still want one eventually. I'm sure I'll never have it, but it's still, it definitely doesn't sour me to want. Matter of fact, it may even make me want the original that much more, to be honest with you. Yeah. So hopefully it hasn't hurt the value all that much overall. I know guys that still want this original one, and it's and I can see why it's a gorgeous book.
Absolutely.
That's a whole other rabbit hole that I don't know if I want to go down on this show. Maybe we can go down on a longer show like Flipside, but keep in mind that there's a lot of this swiping stuff happening right now with some of the small indies, and they're kind of making a mockery out of some of the original covers, which disappoints me a little bit. Some of these covers are classics, and I really don't think they should be messed with. The La Mole thing is one thing where they're Mexican versions and stuff. I get that. The German Euro variants are another. But for an American company to be doing what they're doing, I'm not sure I dig it. But I mean, again, that's a conversation for another day, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, what did DeVoe call it? I think in our chat, smutty thievery. It's
smutty thievery. Yeah, it is. I mean, I think it's like it's blasphemy. I mean, it's comic blasphemy. You're talking about, and in the current cases, if you don't know what we're talking about, the Adam Hughes covers that have been used for nudie covers, essentially, turning them into Zenescope, sort of bare-breasted versions of their originals, which were already pretty sexy. I mean, when you come right down to it, but sexy in a mainstream way. And now they've gotten they're smart.
It's out of hand, but like you said, that's a topic for a whole nother day.
It is, yeah. I'm sorry I've gotten down the rabbit hole a little bit. I can't help it.
I can't help it either because it bothers me.
Yeah, it really does, especially with those covers. I'm a huge Legion of Superheroes 23 fan. It's one of the few moderns I would keep if someone told me I had to choose 10 books out of my collection. And so it hurts me personally when I see that. I busted my butt to get a copy of that thing.
Yeah,
so
I'm with you.
Yeah. All right. Well, that brings us to the big number one. And that's DC Comics Presents 47, which is the first appearance of the Masters of the Universe. which is sort of an odd book to have it be the first appearance, I guess. And I'm sure that there's people that would argue about this list. And by the way, let me segue for a second. The original list can be found at comicbookinvest.com. That's CBSI. Ben C puts this out every week. It's a fantastic list. We've done a few episodes before this. There's a Hot 25 Star Wars. We've done War. We've done Second Prince, and there's plenty more. And Schomburg, yeah. There's plenty more coming. So please check that out over on comicbookinvest.com. Matter of fact, I put the banner up real fast. And this is just, there's a link in the description if you're wanting to click over, but if you also just want to write that down, it's right there. Or if you want to copy paste it, it's right there. So please go and do that. And there's tons of great content over there every week as well. Free stuff from both of us. Peter and I put together a few things every week, but Topher's True Firsts and the Hot 10 list. And I mean, there's all kinds of things. The Walker Report, Diesel City Dreams, Fisherman's Tale, you name it. And it runs the gamut all over the place. We also have a lot of great Wednesday content. You got the Wednesday one, you got Cover Fire, you got Rumor Has It. Plenty of great stuff to check out. And then if you're on a budget, please check out Peter's Dollar Bin Diet. So, and I'll pull that off. But this book is, while I think a lot of people probably would argue that Wilkins one is the one, I think on a grander scale for the comic collecting community, this is the book people want.
It's attainable too. Like that helps.
It is absolutely. I'm not sure what these are selling for now. There was a big jump when there was some movie news, I know. And I'm sure it's settled back down since then. So I'm not really sure exactly what it goes for now, but it's still a really sought after book. Again, this is of that era that gets thrashed. I often see this in pretty bad shape when I see it. It's always got like really soft corners or dog-eared corners and a lot of ticks in it. So it's a thicker book as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it's those ticks are there forever.
Yeah,
I don't know how many pages, but yeah. So this is the number one, and it clearly is. It's the one that will stand the test of time, regardless of what happens with our hobby. This will be the key. I'm not sure that I would say the Wilkins is a key, other than it's a high-end variant, which of course a lot of people want. So it's a key in that sense, but this is the key as far as first appearances go.
Different type of collector.
Yeah, it's the one I'd want. At least after that She-Ra that's on the wall behind me. So we're going to get into the honorable mentions, but as a caveat, they're only honorable mentions just because they're not as common. They're so rare that it's hard to call these hot books because they just don't sell very often. Even the Wilkins and the Dodgson She-Ra are rare enough that it's tough to put them on the list, but when they come up, they sell instantly. The next few books that we're going to put up as honorable mentions they could slot themselves into the list. Yeah, they're super tough, and they're just as sought after as some of these other books. It's just that they're not as common. Sales are not as common. So the first one we've got, there we go.
Masters of the Universe #8, the Graham Cracker exclusive. I want this.
Yeah.
If I can find it, I would want this.
You're a Faker fan, right?
I don't know. I liked them. I had the Master Universe toys when I was younger, and for whatever reason, the blue He-Man was cool to me.
Yeah, it's cool. It is cool. Yeah. You have that as what's your next slide? Isn't your next slide?
Oh yeah, because I put them in here.
There it is. I thought so.
I don't know. Something about it. The purple, the blue, the orange. I don't know. I liked it.
That's cool. I gotta say it's cool. Like I said, I mean, it's not like I didn't want these as a kid. It's just that whenever I could get more expensive stuff, it was always a Transformer instead.
Yeah, so, that's true.
I don't know. This just always took the back seat, but definitely cool toys. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. But this book is impossible to find.
And a good size too, like a good chunky size.
I mean, that's a lot of plastic. You had the heft.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't get that with G.I. Joe. Yeah. Or Star Wars or any of that. And the doll size stuff for Star Wars was too big.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and you didn't want to be made fun of by your friends saying you played with dolls. All right, so then the next one.
Next one's a weird one. I didn't know about this one until Ben's list. And that's this Eternity War #1.
And what did you have to do to get this?
This one, from what I found out when I was looking into it, you had to subscribe for the whole series. It was only $25, but I mean, how many people do subscriptions, like anymore? Like, and the cover was like a contest winner, and they had to do the focus. It's like a photo cover of He-Man toys. I think it's a different series than the originals. I think it's a newer volume of the toys, but yeah, it was you had to subscribe. That was the only way to get it from MattyCollector.com, which Mattel. It wasn't easy.
No, so I've never seen
how
that
many
book.
of these are out there.
I've never seen that book. And then the last runner-up or honorable mention, MV Creations He-Man.org exclusive cover, limited to 500. So I guess these came with numbered COAs.
Yeah, they did special versions of there's regular covers, and then they did these MV Creations, which were limited to 500 versions, because I think they took over, I don't know where in the timeline, after Image, but before DC got it back. It was somewhere in there. This company had them.
But I see a lot of stuff from the company, but I never see this. I've never seen this particular one. It's 500 copies. Obviously, it's going to be pretty rare.
Yeah, and I think they did it for all 6 issues. And this is
did they really? Wow. Okay, man, that must be one hell of a set to try to put together.
Yeah, I would think so. Again, didn't know about them until Ben put these on the list.
That's brutal. No, I didn't know about these either. I mean, I've seen every other one on the list. I'd seen pictures of the Eternity War one with the action figures. I've just never seen one in person. And the Faker ones become kind of famous, but but this one I had no idea about. This is crazy. I wonder what these sell for now. I'm curious.
I think there's one listed of this copy, and I think it's up for $1,000.
Woo! Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I saw it when I was looking earlier.
Wow, that starts to approach the Wilkins territory when you're talking about $1,000.
Yeah, that's asking, but who knows if anybody? I didn't look if any what sold, but that's the one I think that's out there.
Yeah, but still, this is one of those franchises, right, where these fans are so rabid for their stuff. Transformer comic collectors are the same way with their subscriber variants and stuff like that.
True. Man. Yeah, that's true.
Some of this stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if this one sells for $1,000. That's crazy. I mean, it's just, look at Star Wars these days. I mean, some of those 1 of 1,000s from the conventions and stuff. I realize Star Wars is hot for a different reason now, but I mean,
this will get
only 1,000 copies, or in this case, 500 copies. I mean, eventually you're not going to be able to get one.
Yeah, so, this will come back around. Kevin Smith got a lot of great book series, so it'll get hot again.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too. Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to kind of getting into it for the first time in my life. It's that one weird franchise that I just never quite got into, and I'm really looking forward to kind of diving in when it all starts back up again and seeing what I see.
Lately. The Dolph Lundgren movie's been on.
Yeah, it has.
It's good.
I've never had the heart to watch the whole thing all the way through, but yeah, it is.
Open-minded.
It's definitely. I will be. I mean, it's still part of my childhood. My friends all played with this stuff. I just didn't.
Yeah, so, but the movie's nothing like
it was a voice. No, and I did watch the cartoon from time to time. It's not like I ignored the cartoon. I mean, it was, but if it was against something else like Thundercats or even Silverhawks or Mask or any of those things, I probably didn't watch it. But I did. I watched it sporadically. It was a very entertaining show.
Yeah.
But some great books on this week's list. Again, if you want to check out more detail on these, go over to CBSI. That's comicbookinvest.com and check out the list by Ben C. Hit us up. Plenty of great content on there, free. We do it out of the goodness of our hearts because we love comics. And then also Tales from the Flipside podcast on Mondays, and a full schedule of podcasting throughout the week. Don't forget this Saturday coming up, we've got primary grader Matt Nelson from CGC coming to sit down with Nico. That should be a great night. Those interviews have always been fantastic since he started them, although that's a little bit of a pat on the back since he interviewed me one week. But
that was good too, though.
Mine was the one that was least interesting, I think. But either way,
now if you like Star Wars, it isn't.
Well, I guess that's true. But otherwise, great content all week. You have the schedule. There it is. So Vintage Voyage on Sundays, the main Tales from the Flipside podcast on Mondays, Global Comic Safari, which is really awesome for foreign collecting, on Tuesday.
I think they're coming back soon, too.
Yeah, yep. You got the Discord. I think the sort of the table breaks and stuff on Wednesday. You got this our two mugs here on Thursday with the theme Hot 5. You got 3 Comic Monty on Friday, the Hot 10 show as well on Friday, and then Saturday is the weekend update with Nico. So some great content all week. Check that out. Hang out, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you next week, everybody. Thanks a lot.